Hi, my name is Chris Clausen. When I'm not running my paint business, playing music, or walking my dog Bob, I'm a yoga teacher. It all started in 2000 when I made a bad jump on a trampoline and broke my lower back. After about a year, I tried yoga as a way to reduce my chronic pain and increase mobility. Over time, I learned it's not just what poses are best for my back, it's how to do them correctly and in a way that's best for my body. Now I'm virtually pain-free and doing things that I never thought possible after my injury. So in 2007, I became a certified Iyengar yoga instructor and have been teaching classes and privately ever since. In each episode of this show, I'll focus on an area of the body and teach you how to do poses that will help you reduce pain, increase mobility, and just feel better. I'm Chris Clausen, and this is The Yoga Show.
Been doing this for professionally as probably about 12 or 13, 14 years, something like that. Cool. And renovating houses and handyman fixing a sink, plumbing on a sink, minor plumbing. If it if it gets major above my pay grade, I bring the subs.
You know what your limitations are.
Yeah, and I pretty much know, in a sense, how to do everything, or what goes on at least. Yeah. So that's kind of my role.
What do you think are the most common things that we in this business suffer? Right.
My back. I really have to watch out for my back. I have to do things right, and because if I don't, I'll pull my back out, or just it'll just there are issues, and it's kind of a consistent maintenance.
Yes. Right.
As well. I mean, if every day I can feel a little bit of my back. So okay.
So we were talking earlier about, say you're cutting on a table saw, where you're just sort of in this place where you're sort of half forward, and you end up spending, you might do this all day.
Yeah, a lot.
Right.
Oh, working like this.
Exactly. And what happens is these lower back muscles, the superficial muscles of the back, are just they're having to work like crazy all day. And one of the mistakes that I think people make is, and it's not necessarily wrong, but it might not be the best thing, is when they come up and then they go, and you get that, we all know that feeling that you get. So it feels like that good pain that you get when you do that. But another recommendation I would have you do is, like after all this, your back is dying to just be able to go all the way down. So I'm going to demonstrate real quickly. I'm going to have Bob just take his hands to the counter, and you can do it on anything, any level surface like this. So he comes close to the support and walks back and comes to a forward bend. And then when he comes out, he's just going to come forward. So after you've been doing all this, you don't want to get, because you're just straining the back more. This is why it's important to go to the support and just walk back, so your back can relax into it. Okay. So Bob, go ahead and take your hands.
See if I can manage
so his hands are about shoulder width apart, and then he walks his feet back and bend forward as much as you can. Watch out, Bob. His feet will be about hip width apart. And he straightens out his legs.
Actually, that feels great.
Yeah, and the hands are there for support, so your back is just able to receive the stretch as opposed to having to do the work to hold you up. He wants to keep his chest, he wants to reach his chest forward, and then when he comes out, he just bends the legs and walks back towards the support.
That actually feels really good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
We met because you and Alice were coming to my class.
Yeah, that's right.
That's how we met.
Alice influenced me to come to your yoga class. Yes, and I went kicking and screaming.
Right.
So to speak. Not really. I mean,
believe me.
I kind of enjoyed it, but I needed that influence from Alice to get me there, definitely at the time.
But over time, but what I have noticed is that you show up on your own sometimes.
Oh yeah. I mean, now that I like the results of it a lot.
Right.
Definitely. I mean, so I've even gotten to where even I do 3 or 4 or 5 minutes in the morning.
That's beautiful. That's all.
It really makes a difference in my day. Definitely. So I'm pleasantly addicted to it now.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
So
excellent.
Yeah.
So continuing on with the stuff we're working on shoulders a little bit. Another thing that I learned in the yoga class that I use a lot when I'm working is this thing that I do sort of in a doorway. And what I do is I just, Bob, you can see I'm going to take my hand's about, my arm's about shoulder height, and I take the hand and the forearm to the elbow, right to the board there. And then I just sort of walk forward and I press the hand and the forearm in and take the chest a little forward. So I just get some opening of this pectoralis. Right here, and then all you have to do is just do the same thing on the other side. The hand and the forearm and the wrist all press in, and you open the chest. Let's give it a try.
All right.
Right, so you can see, yep, there it is. You get begin to walk forward a little bit, get more parallel. Yeah, there it is. And now begin to move your chest forward and just open that pectoralis and let the shoulder drop a little bit more.
Okay.
See if you can relax.
Yeah.
And it's not a real intense, opening. But just do a little bit and then release, and then just go to the other door, other side of the door. So yeah, it's a gentle press, but make sure that the wrist and forearm are pushing too.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit more stability, but then let that shoulder sort of drop down a little bit, and then you release and you come out, and there's just suddenly a little bit more.
Open it up.
Yeah, a little more.
Before I went with you, and I felt lost. I mean, I had no keep up. Look, what now? How do I do that? I have no idea what's going on. That's what I really.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much how it went. No, they're a pretzel. I can't do a pretzel, So I feel like I'm a perpetual beginner at this, and I'm okay with that, and. So I'm not real limber, but I'm a lot more limber than I used to be.
Yeah.
And there are people around me in your class that there's every level in there. It seems like that's what I like. And I'm the one that's like I bend over like this. Man, not me. I'm about right here.
My shoulder, and I straighten the arm behind me, and it's the same thing as I sort of did at the wall, where I drop the shoulder down and then just turn a little bit in to open the chest, and then I release, and it's the same thing on the other side, where I just, again, the hand's lower than the shoulder, drop down and turn the chest open, and releasing down, and just nice loosener. Let's see you try it.
All right.
Yep. And you can take your hand, doesn't have to be quite at shoulder height, it'll be a little bit lower, it's a little easier on the shoulder. Yeah, there you go. And, exactly, move forward, and just press the thumb and index finger a little more in there, and get the inner elbow to go a little more up. Yeah, and then you release, and just come out. And again, it's very gentle, but it creates a nice opening in the chest. Yep. Roll that left rib cage forward and drop the shoulder down. Yeah. So again, this is going to be a very nice way to just sort of undo this work that we keep doing, the tension that we might create in the chest and the shoulders.
All right.
Yeah. Because I used to have what was that tradesman's yoga class. I don't know.
I'm aware of. Yeah,
years
I'm aware
ago.
of that.
Yeah.
Yes, I thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, right. And it's sort of hard to get people to buy into it.
I can see that.
We're trying to appeal to a certain demographic. But I figured this would be a great opportunity to sort of get into some of that and like work on, like some of the things that I do when I'm on the job site. And my shoulders are bothering me, my back bothering me.
Yeah, well, that's a common problem for everybody in this business.
Right. Yeah,
but
exactly.
We don't know what to do.
Right. Yeah, no.
We don't know there's actually something to solve that
there's
helps.
stuff you can do, right?
Yeah.
So many of us in this business spend a lot of time on our knees working on floors or baseboards, and it can be very tough on the knees themselves. Now, oftentimes we have knee pads. Some of you use them, some of you don't. That's fine. But sometimes, yeah, sure, the knee pads will cover the outside of the knee, but the joint of the knee itself can get quite strained when you're in these deep knee bends. So one of the things I often do when I'm working is just have a big old dirty drop cloth that I can use to sort of put between my calves and my thighs when I'm doing this stuff. It just creates, it's a spacer. It creates a little bit of space between the upper leg bone and the shin bone. And even as I'm doing this right now, it feels so much nicer than it was when I was just sitting on my heels. And especially if you're spending a fair amount of time, if you're doing this for 3, 4, or 5 hours in a row, after a while it can be quite strenuous to not have some kind of support. So just a little something tucked up behind the knees when you're doing this work. You just take it with you as you go. It will reduce a lot of the strain that you might end up getting on your knees when you're doing this kind of work. It's too aerodynamic.
Just do a simple.
Yeah. That's hilarious. So yeah, the modern cars aren't nearly as good for yoga as a good old fashioned truck.
Good for gas mileage.
The old Camry that you see everywhere is great.
Yeah, but really truly, pickup trucks are probably the best yoga vehicle. Yoga prop vehicle compared to say like a Prius.
Yeah.
So me and Bob are standing here. Me and Bob are standing here right in front of one of the most effective construction workers yoga props that you have.
Effective and available.
Effective and available pickup truck.
Yeah.
If you're a carpenter, if you're a construction worker, if you work in this kind of business, chances are you have this, which means that you have a very helpful and useful yoga prop. We're going to do a little bit of a forward bend, kind of like what we did inside. I'm going to have Bob just take his hands to the back of to the sides of the back of the pickup truck here. He's just going to walk his feet back and bend forward. So he wants to keep his hips over his feet, so he's not falling forward too much. Yeah, and then he just reaches the chest forward. You can separate your legs a little bit, separate your feet a little bit. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. But the goal is, for him to get the chest to go towards the truck. And he pushes the thighs back. But he can also sort of grab around the edges and just sort of pull himself back like he's trying to pull the truck towards him to get a little bit more leverage. But then when he comes out, again, just walk to the support. Just sort of keep some of the strain out of the lower back. So then we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to have him do the exact same thing, only he's going to separate his feet. So he's going to walk his feet back, and then he'll separate. So you walk them back first, and then you can separate them wide.
All right.
So get them back, and then just walk them like 4 or 5 feet apart if you can. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, exactly. And it's the same approach. And he wants to sort of push his thighs back as his chest goes towards the truck.
Yeah, that's good. This is really good.
Right, and again, this is a great way to just sort of neutralize the back, and then he just sort of brings his feet together and walks back to the support.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, that's good. That's very good.
And again, like these are all little things that, I can't emphasize it enough, that you don't need to get your yoga stuff on. You don't need to get your, get the mat out and put an hour in. You can just apply the stuff over the course of a day.
Yeah.
And really make a difference to your back, to your arms, to your joints, your knees, all that stuff.
Yeah. It's a little.
Actually, now I think about it, I bet a pickup truck is one of the most useful.
Got different levels.
Exactly.
That should be a show.
You can adjust. Well, I know. I went out and did some footage already with the truck.
It makes it accessible. People think you gotta have a mat and a ball. You gotta have everything, and you gotta have a flat floor.
Right.
That's why I say the beach. I mean,
we don't need no sticking mat. Again, back to this great yoga prop for construction workers known as a pickup truck. One of the things I'm going to have Bob do right now is just a little bit of a chest opener, a way to sort of open up the chest again. After all this work, sometimes bending forward, I'm going to ask Bob, he's standing right where he is. He's going to stay right there. He's just going to bend his legs a little bit and let his body rest a little bit more on the side of the truck. So he's going to bend and lower his body down a little bit. And then from there, he's going to take his arms and just cross them over his head. Yep. And now, I'm just going to ask Bob to begin to straighten out his legs and let his back sort of open up over the support.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he's got this nice, this height is good for his just middle back opening up, and then I'll ask him to just change the cross of the arms.
All right.
And it's important that he keeps the legs straight to help the chest open. But then when he comes out, take your arms down, bend your legs a little bit just to help you come up and out. And that's it. And it's just as easy as that. Does that feel all right? Pretty good?
Feels great. I had to remember to keep my shoulders down. I tend to want to.
Yeah, they want to shrug up.
Right
That's
there,
Yep. That's when every time we take the arms up, it's important to try to remember not to let the shoulders go up. Keep them down. So now we have the truck box. Now it's going to be more in his upper chest and his shoulders. So he's going to do the same thing. He's going to bend his legs a little bit and then just sort of lean back into the truck and even get his upper chest. And then arms up and over, cross the arms. He's going to straighten out his legs and just begin to coil that upper chest back. Yep. Then you just, you can stay here for a few seconds as long as it feels right to you. And then change the cross of the arms. But hang here, really keep the chest lifting. As he presses the legs, keeps the legs straight and presses the feet down, the chest begins to coil more open.
Yeah.
And then again, he comes out, he can bend the legs a little bit, take the arms down. So this is one of those things that took no time at all.
Yeah, just
suddenly
feels good.
Yeah, the circulation.
And stand up a little straighter.
Right, yes, exactly. Because, again, hours of this, you got to find something that you can do to sort of open it up a little bit. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Feels good.
Yeah. And of course lifting too, it's interesting, I know with myself and with my employees, is, when you get in a rush and you're not thinking about how you're picking something heavy up, right? You're like, I just got to get this piece of wood from here to there. Yeah. And I just got to do it as quickly. So maybe the awareness, you're concerned about your own body is lower than the need to just get that second
or you have that moment,
Right, exactly. Why just sort of, you're ahead of yourself, your brain's thinking about, oh shit, I got to get this done, I got to get this, all that kind of thing. It's interesting. I know with myself, again, trying to apply what I know in yoga in my daily life, is difficult but really helpful. If I can,
I would imagine. Yeah.
A couple minutes every hour to do something. To just kind of undo. It really makes a big difference. Another great use for this yoga prop known as a pickup truck, we took down the tailgate. And I'm going to have Bob just sit down right at the corner here.
Okay.
So
So this is a very gentle twisting pose. It's good for the lower back, good to just sort of open up the chest. He's going to take his right hand to his left knee, and his left hand to the back side of the chair near the blinker, near the truck, near the blinker. And then he presses both hands down, one hand into the knee, one hand into the truck to help him sort of lengthen the spine, and just a very gentle twist to the left. And then he can do the other side. He just slides himself over, down to the other side of the tailgate. Left hand goes to the right knee, right hand goes to near the sort of the blinker. And both hands are pushing down a little bit. And then there's that gentle twist that he does. It's not a lot of force, it's not a lot of strain, it's just a loose, a light twist. And then he releases and comes out.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good.
Excellent. It's just, again, all these very little subtle things that can make a big difference over the course of a day.
Yeah.